Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Amanda, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how I draw faces. So first I'm going to draw a circle. It doesn't have to be a perfect circle. I just kind of draw a rough version of what I want the head size to be. Then I put a line through it in the direction that I want the face to go. So for this one, I'm drawing a straight ahead pose. And so I just draw the line straight down the middle. Then for the eyes, I kind of just draw an almond shape. I do use this kind of parallelogram technique that I will show you in the next sketch that I'm going to draw in this video. But for this one, this is kind of how I draw my normal eyes. And I try to draw both sides at the same time. You know, you might have heard before to try to draw the eyes at the same time. Don't draw one eye by itself and then try to match the other eye. I think it's kind of easier to draw whatever you're drawing on one side on the other side right after. I think it kind of looks more even that way, and don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect. Some of my eyes are hard, so I totally get it. It's not easy to draw good looking eyes, and that's why I like digital art, because you can either flip it to one side or you can just, you know, edit the eye with a warp tool. But yeah, so in my sketchbook, don't be too hard on yourself. I try not to be too hard on myself. It's a sketchbook and it's for practicing. Next I draw the nose, and for the nose I kind of just draw a circle first, and then I draw the nostrils at the very end of the circle. Then I draw the outside of the nose. Sorry, I don't know anatomy. I don't know the proper terms for this, but then I draw the outside like C shapes around the nostrils. So for the mouth, I kind of do this technique. I don't always use this technique for mouths, but especially for straight ahead poses, it's really helpful. So as you can see, I'm kind of drawing 3 ovals, 2 sideways ovals on the top and 1 bigger oval on the bottom. And then I kind of draw the lines of the mouth around that. And then I'll erase and shade in the rest of the mouth after that, so you don't see the shapes as well. Then I kind of just draw the jawline around the mouth. I do this because I have trouble drawing. I don't like to draw the whole head shape first, because then I end up doing, I don't know, it just ends up looking janky for me. I'm not sure why. So then I just draw the rest of the face. I draw the eyebrows. I don't really have a special technique for the eyebrows. I just draw kind of the basic happy looking eyebrows, or sometimes I draw sad looking eyebrows. I guess the best method for drawing them is to look at references, or how you can study how other artists also draw eyebrows. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't really have a special thing for them, but yeah, that's all I do for those. And then the ears are pretty simple. I just kind of do that kind of C shape, especially when it's straight ahead. I do kind of have a specific kind of shape that I do when it's at the side, but it's pretty basic, and you'll see that in my next one. So I like to shade in my faces, put a little bit of blush on the cheeks, put a little definition in the cheeks, shade the eyes before I finish the piece and bring it into whatever I'm gonna do. Sometimes, for the most part, I use my sketches for my digital art. I draw them in my sketchbook first, not this sketchbook actually, but I'll talk about that later. But usually I'm drawing them in my really messy sketchbook, and I kind of try to make them look nicer because I end up taking that into Procreate and tracing over it, or I take it into Procreate or Photoshop, fix up some wonky areas of the sketch, and then trace that with colored pencils, and then I use that for my traditional art. I don't make a ton of traditional art. Most of the traditional art I make you'll see on my YouTube channel. I make alcohol marker pieces occasionally. I'm planning on doing a gouache piece. I don't know when, but I will show you that when I use gouache for the first time. I'm gonna make a video about that as well. So yeah, for the rest of this piece, I'm just kind of gonna be winging the hair. I kind of just was like, yeah, I like drawing curly hair, so I started drawing curly hair. I do look at references when I do hair sometimes, but it's still hard to figure out exactly how I want it to look. So sometimes my failed pieces are really just because the hair looks really awful and I don't know how to fix it. But yeah, I kind of gave her a flower crown and kind of went with some princessy vibes for her, and I thought she ended up looking kind of cute. And after this, I'm going to be doing a 3/4 pose, so stick around for that, but I'll let you watch the rest of the process for this. Oh, and you may have noticed that I'm using a colored mechanical pencil. So the actual mechanical pencil that I bought just had regular lead with it, but I bought the Pilot lead that you can kind of see at the side right there. Those are the colors that I was using for that sketchbook session, and they're really fun to use. I love using the colors. I would use colored pencil, my Prismacolor pencil, to do colored sketches before, and they work really great as well, but I'm really used to using mechanical pencils for my sketches, so that's why I decided to get that lead so that I could have more colorful sketches, because this sketchbook is meant to be a more fun sketchbook, maybe a sketchbook tour worthy sketchbook, we'll see. But yeah, so that's why I wanted to use that for this, so it's a little bit more colorful. So here we are again. As you can see, I'm starting with a circle, but this time I'm going to have an angular line that faces to the left because I want her to be looking in that direction. This is that parallelogram technique that I was talking about earlier. So I draw lines that are in a parallelogram shape. I never really connect the two lines. I kind of like my lines to be open in my sketches because I think it ends up looking more interesting in my digital art pieces that way. But yeah, so just angled lines, and then I end up going over it and rounding those corners so that it has a little bit more of an even look. I do think the eyes at the end of this piece look a little bit off. but you'll see that later. It's really how I draw the head around the eyes and not the eyes themselves. I also do use the technique, you might see me doing this, where I kind of measure the first eye with my fingers, and then I put that space that I measured in between the eye, and then at the end of that, I'm sorry if this is confusing, but at the end of that, I put that's where I start the lines for the other eye, because there's supposed to be an eye's length space in between both eyes. So as you can see, I'm using a lot of the same techniques that I showed you in the first one. I start with a circle for the nose, and then I draw the nostrils. But for the side pose, I usually only draw one nostril. You could draw two depending on the angle, but I like to just draw one and pretend like the other one's hidden by the side of the nose. This is my favorite pose to draw. I think last year I did this pose because I wanted to practice it more, and then I ended up becoming more familiar with this pose than straight ahead, but I think my straight aheads are usually okay. They're kind of hit or miss. And these are all my sketches are hit or miss, honestly. It took me forever to record this video, I'm not gonna lie to you, because I either hated the final outcome, or if I did draw a good sketch, I forgot to hit record. You will see that later in this video that there's a sketch that I did, and you'll only see me drawing the rest of the body and shading in the face, because guess what your girl forgot to do? She forgot to press record. And I wanted to scream, and this is like the third time that this has happened. It's at least the second time it happened for this video. The first time it happened, I just left the sketch. I was so mad at myself. I left it. It's not done yet. It's kind of just sitting in my sketchbook looking unfinished, but it will be finished because I actually like it. But yeah, so every time I drew something I really liked, the video was not recording, and therefore it was basically useless, and I wanted to cry. Anyway, enough of me being a chaotic disaster. I'm gonna let you get back to watching the rest of the video. I hope this was helpful to you in some way. I'm not necessarily the best at tutorials yet, but I hope that I at least kept you company while you draw, clean, study, or what have you. Let me know if you have any questions, suggestions, or concerns in the comments. I am thinking about making more sketchbook videos for you guys, like sketchbook sessions and process videos and things like that, so let me know if that's something that interests you by liking this video and commenting down below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe for more art content, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys!